Hello everyone. Today's story is about James, who was betrayed by his close friend, had his loved one kidnapped, and faced a plot to seize his company. With determination and the help of the police, James exposed the scheme, brought the criminals to justice, and reclaimed what was rightfully his. After many hardships, James and Diep finally began a peaceful and happy life together. If you enjoy dramatic and emotional stories like this, please subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Thank you all for watching. James sat silently in his office, the warm yellow light casting shadows on his face, firm yet filled with pain. In front of him were files, audio recordings, and carefully edited video footage. Each detail was a puzzle piece revealing a cruel truth he could no longer ignore. His closest friend, John, and John's father had betrayed him. It all started when Diep, the woman James loved deeply, suddenly vanished without a trace. He had searched for her desperately, calling every number, asking the police for help, hiring private investigators, but every lead led to a dead end. No one knew where Diep was. Not a single message came from her. James felt like he had fallen into hell, a world stripped of light and hope. Then one day, an anonymous letter arrived with a USB drive. When he plugged it into his computer, his heart nearly stopped. In the grainy video footage was Diep, her hands tied, locked in a small room, surrounded by the mocking voices of two men. As long as James gives up control of the company, she'll be released. If not, don't blame us for what happens next. Those voices, unmistakable. They belong to John and his father, Mr. Lamb, a man who used to be a close friend of James's late father. Rage and heartbreak surged through James like a tidal wave. He couldn't believe that John, the friend who had once built a company by his side, the one who used to say we're brothers for life, was the mastermind behind such filth. Instead of acting recklessly out of anger, James chose to gather more evidence. He hired tech experts to retrieve deleted footage from security cameras near the company's premises, where John had been seen sneaking in at odd hours. He secretly recorded phone calls where John, pretending to be concerned, accidentally revealed hints about Diep's whereabouts and made veiled threats. A former assistant of Mr. Lamb, after learning the truth, agreed to testify, providing information about secret meetings between the father and son where they plotted to seize shares and transfer assets illegally. A month passed. With a folder full of undeniable proof in his hands, James no longer hesitated. His heart burned with the need for justice. He walked into the police station, his expression calm but his eyes burning with resolve. He was no longer the composed businessman he used to be, he was a man carrying a blazing truth in his heart. I'm here to file a criminal report against John Lamb and his father, Lam Van Min, for kidnapping, extortion, and attempting to illegally seize control of my company, James said firmly to the police officers. The lead investigator looked at him in disbelief as he examined the stack of documents, evidence that was clear, logical, and irrefutable. A special investigative team was immediately assembled. Under the flickering neon lights of the station, James signed the report. His hands trembled slightly, but his eyes were steady. At that moment, what burned in his chest was not just fury or sorrow, but a flicker of hope that soon, Diep would be found and safe again, and the traitors would face the punishment they deserved. After receiving James's criminal report along with all the submitted evidence, the Criminal Police Department immediately established a special task force. The case file was stamped top secret and delivered straight to Lieutenant Colonel Hung, a seasoned investigator known for his swift and accurate resolutions of high-profile cases. That very night, he convened an emergency meeting with his most elite officers. "We're not just dealing with a kidnapping," Colonel Hung said sternly, his eyes scanning the room. "This is an organized scheme, meticulously planned, involving finances, power, and ambition. Every minute of delay increases the danger for the victim." The investigation launched on multiple fronts. One team of detectives was assigned to monitor every move of John and his father. Their bank accounts, suspicious financial transactions, travel history, and phone records were all placed under surveillance. Simultaneously, another team began narrowing down a list of villas, resorts, warehouses, and properties under names linked to the Lamb family, many of which had never been publicly declared. A breakthrough came from GPS data tied to a delivery truck seen near the location shown in the video where Diep was being held. Tracing it led investigators to a secluded villa nestled deep in a mountainous region on the outskirts of the city. The villa was registered under a shell company, but its legal representative had close connections to Mr. Lamb. After 5 days of surveillance, familiar faces began to emerge: Mr. Lamb's private driver, a few former bodyguards from James's company, and an older woman, once the Lamb family's housekeeper. Inside the villa, operations were quiet and suspicious. Lights were only turned on at night. Windows remained tightly shut. No mobile signals were detected in or around the property. Lieutenant Colonel Hung made the call without hesitation. "We move at dawn tomorrow. Everyone take your positions. No one escapes." At the break of dawn the next day, while darkness still lingered, the entire villa was surrounded by over 30 criminal officers and special forces. A loudspeaker blared, "Everyone stay where you are. This is the police. Drop your weapons and put your hands on your head." Chaos erupted inside. In a panic, John attempted to flee through the back door but was subdued immediately. His father, Mr. Lamb, offered no resistance. He stood still in the living room, his eyes empty, as if he had known this day would eventually come. In a room at the back, Diep was found pale but conscious. Trembling, she ran into the arms of a female officer, tears brimming in her eyes, a wave of relief washing over her face. The sight left even the most battle-hardened officers momentarily speechless. James, waiting in a nearby vehicle, broke down the moment he saw Diep being let out safely. He rushed to her, pulled her into a tight embrace, unable to speak, just holding her as though if he let go, she might disappear again. At the scene, police confiscated numerous pieces of evidence, laptops containing records of illegal financial transactions, burner phones used for internal communication, maps outlining the fraudulent share transfer plan, and many other documents that clearly exposed the crimes committed by John and his father. The operation ended swiftly and cleanly, but it left a heavy emotional weight on everyone involved. James knew this wasn't the end. The upcoming trial would be where the full truth would be laid bare, and where justice would speak. Three months after Diep's rescue, the city court held a public trial for the case of kidnapping, extortion, and conspiracy to seize property involving a single defendant, John, once James's close friend and trusted partner for many years. The case captured widespread public attention. This was not merely a criminal trial but a tragic story of betrayed trust, a stark warning about ambition and power. The press arrived early, cameras aimed at the courtroom doors. James appeared in a simple black suit, his eyes calm but concealing a storm of emotions. Beside him was Diep, gradually recovering. Her face still bore the marks of her ordeal, but her eyes no longer held fear. They didn't need to speak, a simple clasp of hands was enough to support each other. John was led into the courtroom in prison attire. His face was gaunt, far from the polished and confident image he once had. The first glance he cast at James was neither hatred nor shame, but emptiness. He bowed his head, avoiding the eyes of the man he once called brother. The trial began under Judge Kindman, known for his strictness and fairness. The prosecution laid out the charges clearly. John masterminded Diep's kidnapping to pressure James into relinquishing control of the company, while secretly plotting illegal transfer of shares. The plan was carefully crafted and executed over several months, with grave consequences. Videos, recordings, and witness testimonies played in court sent chills through everyone present. In one clip, John was heard in his office on the phone saying, "As long as James falls, the company is ours." Diep? She's just a pawn. His cold words cut like knives. James was called to the witness stand as the victim. He looked John in the eye and spoke calmly but firmly. "I trusted you like a brother. But you chose to betray me. Not out of poverty or desperation, but ambition and selfishness. And for that, you lost everything." John didn't contest. When given the chance to speak in his defense, he simply said, "I have nothing more to say. I accept the court's judgment. Only apologies for turning friendship into a tool." He lowered his head, never daring to look up again. After 2 days of trial, the court sentenced John, 20 years imprisonment for kidnapping, extortion, infringement of property, and damaging reputation. The sentence was delivered in heavy silence. No cheers, no applause. Only the solemn voice of justice, firm, cold, and fair. James helped Diep walk out of the courthouse. Afternoon sunlight filtered through the trees, casting a gentle glow on his face, soft and relieved. Diep leaned her head on his shoulder and whispered, It's finally over, isn't it? James smiled gently, his eyes tender. Yes. But not an end for everything, just a new beginning for us. They walked on amid curious glances and murmurs, with the summer breeze blowing softly. No longer shackled by the past, only a future ahead filled with love, forgiveness, and hope. The story of James and Diep truly touches the heart with its blend of love, courage, and justice. Through difficult trials, they not only defeat their enemies but also preserve their trust and strong bond. The betrayal by a close friend serves as a profound lesson about honesty and the true value of friendship. At the same time, the story emphasizes that no matter how dark the times, the light of justice and love will always prevail, bringing hope and peace to those who persevere and stand up for what is right.